Yes, sir. Is this where I go? Where am I clicking on here? Or is this the wrong page?
I think that might be the wrong page. Should go to episodes. Yeah, just go to composer. And then
there we go. Cool. There you go. There you go. There you go. All right, guys. So I can sign this page and I'm off. These are my headphones I'm taking back. And this has one by Logan Miller. Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I love that countdown. Yeah, nice. I love that. Just love it. What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Jazz Odyssey. Mark Anthony.
Welcome to the Jazz Odyssey on Kubo Jazz, streaming worldwide at kuvo.org. I am Mark Anthony, so grateful to be joining you for this edition of the Jazz Odyssey. That blissful track we just heard from Transit. Well, actually, this is from the album called Transit from the group Scalpel. We listened to track number 4, If Music Was That Easy. Scalpel are a new jazz DJ group composed of Marcin Sici and Igor Kudlu, and they come from Wrocław, Poland. I like how they blend their distinctive touch of hip-hop beats laced with really cool samples, and I love how it has a very rich texture reminiscent of the 60s and 70s era. And kickstarting that set, we heard from the album The Best of Cookin'. Track number 1, Grey Boy, featuring Carl Denson. The track, Your Mind. Grey Boy, what can you say about this hardworking DJ from San Diego? AKA Andreas Stevens. He's been working hard for many decades as a DJ, and I like how he blends together on his productions hip-hop, soul, funk, and even some really cool acid jazz that we heard right there. Keep it locked, we have a really fun show coming up. We're going to hear from Jimi Hendrix, some Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings, and up next we're hearing from the Manhattan Street Band. Manhattan Street Band, they are from Brooklyn, New York. They're an instrumental band formed in 2007, and they play really interesting blends of funk and soul music, also with hip-hop. This group features musicians from various bands playing together, such as Anti-Ballas, Al Michaels Affair, Sharon Jones and the Dat Kings, as well as the Budos Band. I really like this track we're listening to from the Manhattan Street Band. Track number 10, Going the Distance. I am Mark Anthony. Keep it locked here on the Jazz Odyssey.
Thanks, man. All right.
Hope to see you again soon.
All right, man. See you around.
Cheers, thank you.
All right.
hell we're paying taxes for? Well, what if we stop paying taxes? Now what if we all stop paying taxes? Stop paying taxes, y'all. Now tell me who's gonna buy their bonds, their tanks, their planes, and all their guns? Well, tell me who's gonna pay for their wars if we all get together and cut their funds? Yeah, listen, people, listen to what I got to say. Yeah. Now what if we all stop paying taxes? I said now what if we all stop paying taxes? We stop paying taxes, y'all. Well, what if we all stop paying taxes? I said now what if we all stop paying taxes? We stop paying taxes, y'all. There's something on my mind, yeah, and I think I got to let it out, yeah. They can't take nothing from us that we ain't ready to give. Well, how can we talk about the price of gas when they're stealing our brothers and sisters' rights to live? Well, now what do we all stop paying taxes? I said now what do we all stop paying taxes? Stop paying taxes, y'all. Well, what do we all stop paying taxes? I said now what do we all stop paying taxes? Stop paying taxes, y'all.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Children of America, it's up to you. Let Mr. Politician know how you feel. Let him know that you're not going to take no more. Stop paying taxes. Stop paying for corruption and injustice. It's up to you.
Stop paying taxes. Hey, now what do we all stop paying taxes? Stop paying taxes, y'all. What do we all stop paying taxes? Stop paying taxes. All right. Yeah. Ooh, yeah.
This is vocalist Teresa Carroll, and you're tuned to the Oasis in the City, Jazz 89 KUVO and 88.5 KVJZ Vale.
back to the Jazz Odyssey on Kuvo Jazz, streaming worldwide at kuvo.org. I am Mark Anthony. We just heard track number 2, Cut the Reins, from one of my personal musicians out there currently, Tommy Guerrero, on his album Lifeboats and Follies, released in 2011 on Galaxia Records. Tommy Guerrero, he was a prominent member of the 1980s street board crew called Bones Brigade, and then after his illustrious career as a professional skateboarder, he went on to pursue his musical talents and expressions, releasing tracks like this that blend a really cool fusion of rock, hip-hop, funk, soul, and jazz. Once again, Tommy Guerrero. Ahead of that, we heard from Sharon Jones on her album, Soul Time, and this features her infamous band, the Dap Kings. One of my favorite topics of all time. What if we all stopped paying taxes? I really enjoyed that album, and I love how she can make a poignant message and make it sound ever so funky. And then kickstarting that set, we heard from the Menahan Street Band, featuring a few members of Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings. We heard from their really cool self-titled album, Menahan Street Band, track number 10, Going the Distance. Menahan Street Band, if you are a hip-hop head, they have been sampled in some of Jay-Z's songs. Let me know if you can tell what songs I'm talking about. Send me a message on my Instagram, Vibes by Mark Anthony. We have a really cool rendition of Jimi Hendrix coming up in the next set, featuring some really cool artists I think you might know about. Kuvo listener members raised $128,700 in our winter membership giving campaign to support community culture and music. Together, we did it with volunteers, restaurants, and people like you who cooked, donated food to help make this winter pledge drive so much a success. A big thank you to you all. Thank you to all of our new members, renewing, joining, and sustaining members. If you haven't had the chance to pledge earlier, you can still support Kuvo at the website. Please go to kuvo.org or check out the Kuvo app, and let's enjoy more music together with Kuvo Jazz. Up next, we're listening to the title track, In From the Storm. This coming from a really cool rendition of the likes of Carlos Santana, Eddie Kramer, Toots Thielemans, even Sting is on this album, Buddy Miles, Vinnie Colaiuta, and many, many more. Not to mention the London Metropolitan Orchestra on this track. Jimi Hendrix once said, "I'd like to take a 6-month break and go to school to study music. I want to learn, be a model student, and study and think. I'm tired of trying to write stuff down and finding I can't. I want a big band. I don't mean 3 harps and 14 violins. I mean a big band, full of competent musicians that I can conduct and write for." Jimi Hendrix had so much soul, so much on his mind, and he left this planet far too soon. However, his music and his legacy continues here on Kuvo Jazz with In From the Storm. I am Mark Anthony. Stay with me.
I just came back from the storm.
You're listening to Jazz 89, Kuvo, the Oasis in the City.
What's up? Welcome back to the Jazz Odyssey on Kuvo Jazz, streaming worldwide at kuvo.org. I am Mark Anthony. I really love that track. Track number 6, DJ Cam, Mad Blunted Jazz. This coming from the compilation album After Hours 2, Last Call. This is acid jazz. DJ Cam, what an awesome producer. AKA Laurent Dalmail, he is originally from France. He was such a great pioneer of the trip-hop movement, and I really like how he blends jazz, dub, and the ambient sounds into a very unique boom-bap, whole new genre that he calls trip-hop. What do you think of that one? And before that one, we heard track number 3, In Your Brain. This coming from the Monophonics from the Ubiquity record label. The Monophonics, they're a really cool group based out of San Francisco, and In Your Brain sits on the fuzzy psychedelic side of the soul and funk spectrum. I like how they pay homage to some of their role models like Sly Stone, Norman Whitfield, and even Funkadelic's George Clinton. I love that funk band. And ahead of that, paying homage to another legend of music, In From the Storm, the title track, In From the Storm. This group, a conglomeration of musicians like Sting, Carlos Santana, Tony Williams, and so many more. They played their renditions of some of Jimi Hendrix's best tunes. We heard In From the Storm. This album also has Purple Haze, and even The Wind Cries Mary. I am Mark Anthony. We have lots more awesome music coming your way. Up next, we're hearing from a Jazz Odyssey classic, Hiatus Coyote. Support comes from ISU Insurance Services of Colorado, celebrating 25 years sponsoring Runnin' of the Green, Lucky 7K Race, held in downtown Denver on St. Patrick's Day, Sunday, March 17th. Corned beef, live music, and libations. Registration at rotg.org. Up next, we're listening to track number 5, Borderline with My Atoms. This coming from such a classic album, Choose Your Weapon, by Hiatus Coyote. This band originally formed in Melbourne, Australia in 2011. We've played them so many times here on the Jazz Odyssey. Shouts out to Venus Cruz for showing me them way back in the day. This music is forever classic, and as I was going through the CDs, checking out what I might be interested in playing tonight, this album came out to me, and I'm like, I'm definitely playing this track on tonight's show. I hope you enjoy it. Once again, track number 5, Borderline with My Atoms from Hiatus Coyote. Let me know what you think. Send me a message on my Instagram, Vibes by Mark Anthony. Stay with me. Yo. Yeah, what's up? Yeah, what are you thinking? Nice. Nicole Mitchell, Black Earth. Nice. Sweet. And what's your name? Joe. Yo, I appreciate the call. I'll dig to the library and hopefully I can get that on for the second hour. Nice. Dope. Well, I'll check to see if we have some Spangle. I don't know if we currently do, but I will definitely dig through my personal category, library and get that on in the next couple weeks because I love Spangle. Dope, Joe. I appreciate your call. I gotta do this break, but thank you so much for listening. Cheers, bud. Thank you for the call. Thank you so much for going all in with KUVO Denver, KVJZ Vale, 89.7 FM Breckenridge, online at kuvo.org, and on your smart speaker or via the KUVO app. I am Mark Anthony. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. I'm having a blast playing all these awesome tunes for you right now. Thank you, Joe, for that awesome call. Our awesome caller, Joe, he just called and asked for a couple requests. Some Nicole Mitchell, Black Earth Ensemble, which I do think we have in our library, and then a more eclectic piece by, what would you call it, Joe? Trip-hop ambient Spangle. So thank you so much for all the calls. I always enjoy chatting with you out there. Let me know what you want to hear, and let me know what you're currently listening to. That track we just heard, coming from one of my personal favorites, Nostalgia 77. This, the title track from the album, The Taxidermist, released on True Thoughts Records in 2012. Nostalgia 77, such an awesome producer. He first burst onto the scene with a really heavy, new funk-based sound in 2002. Ben Lavenden, he's been working very hard on his sound, and he brings together a nice, diverse fusion of different styles, from very mellow, solemn, to some really cool, upbeat, hip-hop, new jazz flavorings. And then ahead of that, a really cool rendition of the Beastie Boys. Their track, Sabotage, remastered and remade by Reuben Wilson on his album, Boogaloo to Beasties. Reuben Wilson, he is a jazz organist born in 1935, so I love how jazz and hip-hop merge. I'm Mark Anthony. We have another hour of awesome jams coming your way. Kicking off this next set is the Nels Cline Singers. We're listening to track number 3, Respira. Nels Cline, in 2011, Rolling Stone magazine voted him the 82nd greatest guitarist of all time. Earlier in the show, we heard from Jimi Hendrix, and Nels Cline cites hearing Manic Depression, a song by Jimi Hendrix, as a defining moment in his decision to become a guitarist. Like I said earlier, Jimi Hendrix, as well as so many other musicians, regardless of genre, have influenced so many people. So I love that we get to keep their legacy going here on Kubo Jazz. And thank you all for your donations during our pledge drive. Your legacy helps keep the music flowing as well. I am Mark Anthony. Stay with me here on the Jazz Odyssey. This is track number 3, Respira, from the Nels Cline Singers on KUVO.